I am wearing Italian Vegetato camouflage, officially named Mimetica Vegetata. It's a cool and unique looking piece of camouflage history, but where did it come from? Italy actually has a very rich history of their soldiers wearing camouflage, with some of their troops being issued the M1929 Tela Mimetica in, well, it was developed 1929, as shelters or ponchos, with a couple of their paratroopers in World War II actually using them as smocks. They've had a lot of variations of camouflage since then, with actually units often wearing different camouflage to other units, whereas usually an army will issue one piece of camouflage and its general issue. The Italians seem to change, experiment, different units wear certain things, compared to a lot of other nations. A notable example of that is the San Marco camouflage in use with the Battaglione San Marco. Sorry for the pronunciation. And actually that was brought in a couple of camos ago previous to Vegetato. However, the Battaglione San Marco still wears this to this day. It's another interesting looking camouflage pattern with very soft edges, kind of looks almost airbrushed on. Yeah, pretty cool. In 1992, there was more of a general issue camouflage introduced in the shape of Mimetica Roma 90. And that was very, very heavily inspired by US M81 Woodland, which is honestly a really good pick because US M81 Woodland is just so cool and iconic. There was very slightly different shapes, but as you can see, it's very close to M81 Woodland. This actually remained in service until 2005 in general issue, and that's where Mimetica Vegetata then kind of starts to take over. So beginning in 2004, but mainly into 2005, the Mimetica Vegetata was introduced, and it's kind of a mixture of mottled brown and olive green shades on a kind of khaki base. Now this one is pretty faded, but you can kind of get the idea of the general colourway. Obviously I'll put the tile up on screen as well so you can see that. And this is a move towards what we used to see in kind of the Cold War, where a lot of countries, when they were developing their camouflage, it would be more for defensive purposes, i.e. it would suit their home flora, fauna, environment, etc. British DPM, German Flecktarn, Alpenflage, it's all very highly specialised to the defence of their country. I don't know whether it has to do with certain world events after this, but a lot of countries that sort of, mid to late 2000s started going with multicam variants to work everywhere. Take that with a pinch of salt, because we all know that it's a bit of jack of all trades, master of none, but this is designed to work really well in Italy. So you've got kind of lighter colours that would work in kind of more deserty, arid environments like the south of Italy, and then you also have the greens and whatnot, and it'll still work in the more heavily green and vegetated areas like northern Italy. So after the Italian army, the Esercito adopted this in 2004-2005. The Air Force would follow pretty soon after, and then the Navy in the early 2010s would adopt this as well. So a bit of a weird fact, some members of the Special Operations personnel of Armenia actually wear this. Some of the Army Special Operations and the Ministry of the Interior, they reportedly wear this. Just literally a straight up copy of Vegetato. Not sure why, but kind of cool. Okay, so talking about the features of the jacket itself, well, it's just a kind of standard, well, the actual cut of the shirt itself is just kind of a standard field shirt. What's interesting is you have on kind of the mid-torso, rather than either lower pockets or upper pockets. Usually it's just upper pockets if you only have one set of pockets, but this is kind of in the mid-torso, near the rank slider. There are two side opening zippered pockets, so you can get in them pretty easy actually. And they're pretty big, they go quite far in, pretty much to your armpits. So that's interesting, that the side opening and in the middle, but it is kind of where your hands lie and where you go to. So pretty interesting. There are also the same kind of zippered side opening pockets on each of the sleeves, with Velcro up here as well. On both sides, Velcro that is coloured in Vegetato colourway. They also have some pen pockets. My fingers are too fat to get in there, but there are pen sliders in there. There's also reinforced elbow patches sewn in. Then these have held up actually better than the rest of the camouflage on my example. But as you can see, that's there on both elbows. Adjustable cuffs, of course with Velcro. There's Velcro on the left and right pocket, again coloured in Vegetato, and just above the pocket Velcro there's another little square there. I don't know whether that'd be for unit signifiers or whatnot. It's not where my knowledge lies, but yeah. And here's a quick kind of spin round of the shirt. I was super happy to find this actually. It's very interesting to me. Again, it is kind of faded, but I didn't pay too much for this. And this one actually fits me really well, I think. It has kind of like almost feels like there should be an adjustment inside where you can cinch the waist down. It does have kind of like very, very, very mild elastic to it here. But that kind of gives it that shape where it hugs in at the waist, which I kind of like. My Belgian Jigsaw Smock has that as well, and I like cinching that down and giving that cool silhouette. But yeah, I think this is a pretty good field shirt. I like the pattern. I think it's a bit different than kind of the other stuff you see out there, and I believe it's still in service with most units of the army today. And in a CM Multicam, it's nice to see something a bit different. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.